If you saw my video yesterday about manifesting 101, the laws of attraction, there's one important thing that I forgot. So I want to make sure that you guys get that right now. So I want to welcome everybody. This is your Coach Renz. I want to thank you for visiting this channel. If you're finding me for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we're doing live events or any other type of videos pop up. All right. So on this channel, we talk about alchemy, magic. We talk about relationship, money, sex, everything. So please share this video with anybody else. And at the end of this video, I'm going to throw up the video that I'm referring to as far as Know Thyself, as well as the video from yesterday with Manifesting 101. But very quickly, I want to give you guys a breakdown of one last thing that I failed to add to that particular video. So the video talked about Manifesting 101, how to truly use the laws of attraction, and not just your basic thing that you may have read in The Secret, not that thing that when you go to your religious organization, they tell you to pray, they tell you to spin around 3 times and throw it over your shoulder, they tell you to leave it at the altar, that sort of thing, and then just wait for the pie in the sky. Beyond that, beyond the books that tell you just sit at home and just think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it, and then it's going to come. Even beyond the ones who tell you to go and make your vision board and have that vision board up so that you see it all the time, put post notes on your mirror so that you see the words and everything that you're looking for all the time. Even beyond the ones who work with coaches who tell you to write a journal of everything that you desire, because writing it down will imprint it in your mind even more. Even beyond the ones that tell you to create the business plan or create the life structure plan so that you have something that guides you, something that you've written down and it becomes a part of you. You read it every day. Beyond just even goal settings, that all these things won't make a difference unless this aspect is present. And this is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the aspect that if you do not know who you are, you do not understand every detail, your core, who you are, and the key subject matters to which you want to manifest things in, everything that I said yesterday will have no bearing on your life. You won't be able to make any changes. Nothing is really going to happen. You will always be the recipient of the causal effect and not the one who creates the effect. You will always be maneuvered and played in ways that you'll be the pawns on the chessboard while other people are being the rooks, the kings, the queens, the bishops. You will never be a knight. You will never be an alpha. You will always be a beta Charlie or even a delta. You will never get there if you do not have the self-awareness to know exactly who you are. So like yesterday I talked about you got to get things mentally. Then you have to put things into understanding how higher planes affect the lower planes. We talked about how cause and effect, for every cause there is an effect. We also discussed how there is the vibration on the polarity scale which moves you either to the right or to the left. We discussed how everything has a rhythm, a flow to it, that there's a currency. And we also discussed that everything has gender, that it takes male and female energy to birth or create anything brand new. So we used a little corny thing of saying getting in the stream of 2019. Well, if you want to get into this stream of 2019, as corny as it sounds, but you know you're going to have some little saying like that. But as corny as that sounds, getting into the stream of 2019, if you don't have the self-awareness to know who you are as you move forward, nothing will manifest in the way that you desire for it to be. The reason why your 2018 didn't manifest what you desired because you lacked the self-awareness. The reason why your 2017 didn't manifest, you lack the self-awareness. 2016, you lack the self-awareness. Every year, you lack the self-awareness. You may have moments throughout that year. You may have a thing here or a thing there, but you don't get that full 360 degrees of transformation in your life. Why? You lack self-awareness. Let me give you a couple of examples. So oftentimes I have people who come to me and they say, I want to start my own business, Coach Renz. Coach Renz, I want to, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to lay on the beach and just make money. I want to make that passive money by laying on the beach. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to invest money. They don't want to invest time. They lack the self-awareness that says that if you want to create passive income, you have to first create income so that you can invest that income into something that becomes passive income. Passive income is not the network marketing company where you get 3 people and they get 3 people, they get 3 people, they get 3 people. Even if you follow that path and you're the 2% that succeed, You have to put in 18 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day. You have to put in all kinds of hours a day in the beginning to manifest the people to have the downline. And even after that, you still got to keep going, and you still have to have a mindset of knowing this is a gig economy thing. And as it dies out, you have to transition to the next thing, or you have to reinvest your money into something else that creates the passive income, i.e. real estate creates passive income. But even at that, someone has to manage it. You still have to manage the managers. So some system has to be built and put in place. Self-awareness says, are you self-aware enough to know the gig economies when they come? Are you self-awareness to know that you are not a recruiter or you are a recruiter? Are you self-awareness to know that you can manage a system that you've created or somebody created for you, but you put it in place? Are you self-aware to know that when you want to sleep, you know you don't have time to sleep, you got to put the work in? When you want to go play, that you can't go play, you got to go put the work in. That when your family members want to spend time with you, you may not be able to spend all the time that they desire because you have to go put the work in. If your self-awareness says that you have to have your weekends off, you're not self-aware enough to build a business. It may sound harsh to some of you guys, but it's just the truth. If you believe in the idea, the construct of weekends, you're not self-aware enough to build a business because you don't realize time is irrelevant when it comes to building a business, especially we're in the marketplace of the internet. In the marketplace of the internet, time doesn't exist. Time is something that is a fugazi, that somebody just, it's an illusion, that you're being distracted over here with the right hand while the left hand is performing the real magic, and all of a sudden there's a rabbit in the hat. But you don't see that because your self-awareness is not there. So when we're talking about building business or your finances, you need to come to the self-awareness to say that I know that I will be comfortable at $3,000 a month of passive income, $5,000 a month of passive income, or $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, whatever the number is. But then what is the reality of the work that you have to do to get there? You understand? What is the reality of the work that you have to do to get there? Is it a 9-to-5 job to which you put money into a 401k, even though I hate 401ks, but the money you put into your 401k and then live a retirement based on a couple of $1,000s a month? Or is it the self-awareness to know that you need to invest your money into some other form of income so that some other kind of business, and that business may be ran by somebody else. It may be ran by a family member or a friend or someone. Do you have the self-awareness to be able to do that for 10, 20, 30 years? Do you have the self-awareness to be able to build your own business system? Once you understand where your level is, you get to that point, you can build those finances. Do you have the patience? Do you have the patience to be able to fix your credit, build your credit? That's why you guys need to be in financial alchemy if you want to learn how to fix and build your credit. Join the Alchemy Tour of Life as well. So you have to have that in your mindset. You have to know these things. It's not something that you just think. Too many times people think they are something, but they're not. Go back to my video about know thyself by negating, so that you can know who you really are by negating the things that you know you're not, by realizing your true self. Let me give you guys another example. A few weeks ago, I was out at an event, and there was this couple who was behind me. Now, most couples, most people, if you ask them their levels of affection, most people think that they're very affectionate. Some people, they know the truth of themselves. This one couple who was behind me, the young lady was incredibly affectionate, and the man, he was as well. They returned it back to each other. Now, unless this was just new love, unless this was just the moment, but let's just assume, because I only saw them for like an hour, that that is how they are all the time. That is their true self. Then they know their levels of affection. But too often, in my experience and with working with other people, people have an idea of who they are in a relationship, but their reality of who they are may not be measurable to someone else in a relationship. The reason why I'm using relationship, because when we talk about finances, a lot of that is just you. When you deal with a relationship, it's you and someone else. So you may have a perception of who you are, but that may not match the someone else. So this couple seemed to match each other in their levels of affection, because just as much as she touched her hand was on his chest, her hand was around his neck, her hand was stroking his beard, he was giving her the equal amount of affection. So they matched, so that no one goes away dissatisfied. But give you an example of my own personal life. 10 years ago, I started dating a young lady, and I've told you guys this many times before in other videos. She said she was very affectionate. She said she loved affection. But once she met me, who I am incredibly affectionate for, a guy especially, I am touchy-feely. I'd rather touch you. I don't do the, oh, your presence is good enough. I got to touch you, like, constantly, and look for it in return. It was always the statement, oh, I got to get used to you holding my hand all the time. Oh, I got to get used to you kissing on me all the time. Oh, I got to get used to you hugging me all the time. Oh, I got to get used to this. Oh, I got to get used to that. Oh. Her level of affection did not match mine. And after 2 weeks, we mutually agreed that this wasn't a good situation for us. So in a relationship, or any kind of partnership, or any kind of business relationship, when it involves another person, not only do you have to truly understand your own personal self-awareness, but understand the personal self-awareness of the other person. So many of you are going to try to get into the stream of 2019 looking for a spouse, looking for a husband, looking for a wife, looking for some kind of partnership with another person on a romantic level. But as long as you, well, not as long as, if you don't realize what you match up to as far as affection, as far as finances, as far as how do you have fun, as far as dating, as far as adventure, as far as raising children, and this is even if you desire to have a child. To give you guys another personal example of that one, before my first child was born, we spent 2 years discussing and coming to mutual agreements of how the child would be raised. So most people will say, oh, let's, couples get together, they get married or whatnot, and they just said, let's have a baby. If they're planning to have a child, if it's not a surprise that they're planning, then they say, then they may just say, let's have a baby. And the only thing they focus on is the process to create the baby. But they forget that part of that process is having an understanding of how the child will be raised. To give you a portion of that from my experience, my kid's mother, she grew up in a house where kids were seen and not heard. I grew up in a house where you were seen, you could be heard, but to a certain extent. If you were accused of something, you had the opportunity to defend yourself. If there was mistaken identity about something you did, you had the opportunity to talk about it, discuss it. But of course, there was a point where you knew that was it. Of course, you couldn't raise your voice or anything like that, but there was a line in the sand that you could not cross. So those were two very different things. And for me, I desired to have that in raising my children, because I did not want to raise children who were so afraid of authority that they did not speak out or stand up for themselves. And it is in my understanding, my belief, my teachings, that if you raise a child to never speak up for themselves, they will become adults who do not speak up for themselves. They will become adults who allow the manager to do whatever. They become the adults, and y'all get mad about this one. They become the adults who allowed a racist wrestling referee to force that young black man to cut his hair in order to compete, and all they did was do a little booing, instead of them coming down there and stopping the entire match. They did not stand up. It becomes, if you saw my video about Uncle Tom's Cabin, how the black community allowed for Perry Palm Park to call me Sambo while I played baseball as a moniker, and without them standing up and saying, no, there's a misunderstanding here, and that would not be tolerated, that y'all just gonna do this just blatant racist thing. Having children to never speak up for themselves, they become adults who don't speak up for themselves. So that was a very massive issue before for the process of conception would even begin for me to have a child, because I just refused to budge on that issue. And there are a few other things that had to be worked out as to how the children would be raised. So you have to have enough self-awareness to say that, okay, these are things that we have to come to understandings about between the two of us in any relationship. So if you desire to manifest a relationship, then have enough self-awareness and enough courage to be able to discuss these things at length with someone that you met recently or that you spent time getting to know. Be willing to have these discussions and have them openly and honestly to make sure that 5 years down the road, now you're expressing, well, I really don't like this kind of thing, and I guess I should have. Or like I told you guys before, so I got, me and my first wife, after 17 years, got divorced. I rushed into a second marriage. She displayed exactly what I was looking for, exactly what I described. For a year, we got married, and then about 3.5 years into the marriage, after going through counseling and many other different things, it was expressed to me that I thought I was going to be a certain way when I got married, but I realized I'm more like my mother than I thought. I didn't prepare for the personality in a marriage situation for her mother, so therefore that was not going to work for me. If that was something that I had known early in the first year, and of course, yes, there were signs that I made excuses for or ignored. But if I had known the fullness of that, if that full personality was present, if she had known her full personality, then that entire situation, that entire 6-year episode of my life and her life would have never existed. That my universe would be different, her universe would be different, my children would be different, her family, my family. There's so many people that have been affected by that relationship that so many things will be different. But the lack of self-awareness created a situation where you had to go through a marriage and go through a divorce, where kids had to go through a marriage and go through a divorce, where friends had to go through a marriage and go through a divorce. So, and you have to think, those things take a toll on your life and everyone else's life around you. So self-awareness is not only vital for yourself, but it's vital for everyone around you, because you're going to affect so many people. So you have to be self. I was just recently having a conversation with one of my daughters, the middle child. And as she is 19 years old, developing into her adulthood, I was talking to her about the fact that as you grow in your relationship with your boyfriend, you need to develop your self-awareness. Take your time, be patient. You're 19. You're just now starting to understand a little bit of adulting. Grow into your self-awareness before you make major decisions that connect you for a lifetime, whether it's having a child, whether it's getting married. Any of those kinds of decisions, you need to grow your self-awareness. These are conversations I just arbitrarily have with my children. I was having that with my son Lincoln about a month ago, about him developing his self-awareness as he's about to graduate high school in 2019. That you're getting ready, that the decisions you make now, so your decisions 2 years ago didn't really affect the rest of your life as greatly as the decision you're about to make in May, June, July of 2019. Those decisions are going to affect you more drastically. So you have to develop a self-awareness to say who and what I really am. I knew back when I was getting ready to graduate that I would have rather spent my life working in anthropology, working as an archaeologist. I would have rather spent my life doing that than going to the Marine Corps. I love the Marine Corps, don't get me wrong, but I knew my self-awareness at that time said that would have been better, but there were other forces, other causal effects that caused me to make other decisions. And I allowed that and I accept that, which is why now, I kind of like on the side study anthropology, on the side study archaeology, on the side study ancient civilizations and cultures, and let it develop independently of going through someone's education system where you learn things by rote. This is what they say it is, so that's all it is. I see a benefit in the way that I have learned, but if I could spend every day, I would spend every day doing that. But it is something I'm progressing to, because I have the self-awareness to know that is how I would rather spend the rest of my life, you know. So when you desire to manifest anything in your life, in your health, I know right now I can't spend the time in the gym that I used to spend when I was in my 20s. I can't do what I was doing when I was in the Marine Corps. I can't spend the time. I don't have the time because of other responsibilities. I have the self-awareness to know that I will probably not get this body back into the 30-year-old shape that I was in when I was, let me see, wait a minute, what was I doing when I was 30? Because at one point when I was 30, I was about 300 pounds. But whenever I wasn't 300 pounds, and my 2003 shape, I'm not going to get into my 2003, 2004 shape right now because of lack of time. And, you know, hey, some body parts don't move the way they used to move. So I know I'm not going to get there right now. Now, I do have the self-awareness to know that if I rearrange some things, that I can progressively get there over the next 12 to 16 months, I can get there. If I decided to rearrange something. So in your health, you're making these get in the stream of 2019 goals of losing 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds, 100 pounds, but have the self-awareness to know what you are capable of changing and rearranging in your life, so that you don't make goals that you know you can't accomplish, which is a mistake that many people make. They make goals, they make declarations, their 2019 New Year's resolution, and that they're gonna do this or they're gonna do that on resolution, and that I'm going to, you know, lose all this weight. But yet you know that you don't have the time, you know you don't have the discipline, you don't have the finances to be able to hire the personal trainer, so you have the accountability partner. You don't have the friends and the relationships of other people. You can't say I'm going to, you know, you get with your best girlfriend or your best male friend and you're saying that, hey, we're going to do this together. But have the self-awareness to know that that person may not be the better accountability partner for you. You know, that level of self-awareness keeps you from failing. But know that you got to find it within yourself as to what is an attainable goal for something like that. So that when you are sitting down in the next week doing your New Year's resolution and planning, that you make a plan that is actually something you can accomplish a little higher. Like if you're 300 pounds and you say, I want to lose 150 pounds next year. It's a little extreme. If you're 300 pounds, you got arthritis, you got maybe some gout, maybe you got some high blood pressure, hypertension issues, you got all these other issues, that may be a little extreme for you. Now, to say that you're just going to lose 20, that's easy. That's easy, too easy. Have the self-awareness to know that's too easy. So then decide that, you know what, 50 would be difficult, but let me give myself a little extra push and say 70 pounds. All right, give yourself a little more than what's difficult. If you know you want to increase your income by $100,000 next year, then that, depending upon your self-awareness of what you're willing to do, maybe you need to increase it by 50,000 or 60,000, right? Based on your self-awareness of what you need to do. If you want your relationship to blossom into, I was recently having a discussion about how the lifestyle of the movie Love Jones is something that I find incredibly intriguing and we find intriguing. So I was like, you know, but no, have the self-awareness. Do you have time to live that lifestyle? Do you have the mental capacity to live that lifestyle? Do you have the heart to live that lifestyle? And in some aspects, do you even have the talent to live that lifestyle? So have the self-awareness to be able to do that. So when in all your manifesting, in all your New Year's resolution, and as you get into the stream of 2019, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to take that corny little phrase and make it my own for 2019. As you look at this previous video of Manifesting 101 and understanding the true laws of attraction, self-awareness is incredibly vital in order for you to effectively create change in your life. Because changing your life, you got to go all the way back and see all my videos concerning Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, as he talks about how whatever you do consistently becomes a habit, and those habits nature will naturally make permanent. You know, we may start a whole and do that whole video series again, but it makes it permanent. So if you're 40 something like I am, I'm 47, you've been making habits and they're permanent in your life right now. In order to change those, and even though I know I use the finite term of permanent, he used the finite term of permanent. I don't believe anything ever is permanent, because the constant in the universe is change. Change always happens. So even those things that you believe are permanent, you can actually change. It's just that if you spent the last 20, 30 years to make them permanent, it is going to take you more than 21 days to make them permanent a different way, to change them in a different way. If you've been eating nasty for 30 years of your life, unless you have something drastic that occurred, like you had a heart attack, you almost died, or you see a loved one that broke your heart, they die, something like that happens, then maybe you make the instant change because the light bulb goes off. But in general, if you're just feeling some back pain, you're just feeling some high blood pressure, wooziness, if you're just feeling some things like that, it's usually misery that you're used to dealing with. If you're in a relationship and it's just comfortable, like I said, I've seen many relationships where they're just comfortably miserable. It's a misery they can handle, and they know they're going to get out of it. It takes, and you've been doing it for 20, 30 years, or even 10 years. It's going to take a massive amount of effort and energy in order for you to change that, and you have to do it consistently. You can't consistently show affection for 21 days and think you've made the change. No, you've got to consistently show it for a year, 2 years, 3 years for that to become the new change, the new paradigm in your life. You have to change your diet. I am completely vegetarian now. So, and I say I'm completely vegetarian now, but last night at my family's, you know, all 50, 11 people got into this small house at my aunt's house, all 50, 11 of us in there. My aunt makes these meatballs. I wanted some of them things really, really, really badly. So even though I did not partake, I haven't completely got to the point where the desire is not there, right? Because I wanted them things. Like, I really did. Like, I seriously looked at them like 50, 11 times. So it takes time. I know that my complete transformation into 100% vegetarianism, even though it's been, you know, some time now, I know that I've been eating meat my entire life. I'm 47. So just because I started, you know, early this year, switching, I know that it's going to take more than a year for me to be complete and total, where even the desire for it is completely gone. So be patient. Without patience, these changes won't happen. And if you backslide, if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Get back on your horse. If it's important enough to you, get back on your horse. And at the end of it all, that's the last thing. I tell you guys over and over again, you will always do what is important to you. You may say that making money is important, but if you're not actively pursuing activities that makes you more money, it's not that important to you. You may say that traveling the world, or traveling the country, or going to events, or being in love and being affectionate, or exercising or losing weight is important to you. But if you're always putting it on the back burner, it's not that important to you. If you're always saying that you'll get to it, that I'm going to start next week, I'm going to start next month. Well, you know, next month things get a little better for me. I'll have time to actually start going to concerts. Next month things get a little better for me. I'll have time to go to the gym. Next month things get a little better for me. I'll have time to show my mate more affection. Next month things get a little better for me. I'll have time to start building my business. If you consistently put it on the back burner, if next month becomes the next month, becomes the next month, becomes the next month, it's just not that important to you. So maybe it needs to be lowered on its priority, and your reality is, see, we're negating at this point, so go watch that video about negating. You're negating at this point, so get to the reality that, you know, this is where that lives. This lives on this level of priority for me. This lives right here. All these things are more important. And if all these things are more important, stop saying that this is just as important. Self-awareness lets you know that, and you'll live a much happier life, because you'll live a life that you truly create for yourself. So watch this video, watch that video, and y'all have a great day, and subscribe. So remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable, and join the Alchemy of Life tour.